Welcome to the Manufacturing Masters Podcast with your host, Allison DeFord.
Welcome to the first episode of the Manufacturing Masters Podcast. I'm your humble host, Allison DeFord, and we have with us our founder today. So I'm really excited, Darrin Mitchell. Hey.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
I am glad you're
invited anywhere.
Right? Well, and for those of you who don't know, Darrin is a serial entrepreneur. He recently, a couple years ago, sold his manufacturing business, which he built. I call him the underdog. He built it from an island. He's in Prince Edward Island in Canada, and really overcame tremendous obstacles and is a real success story, in my opinion, and found himself needing to create something else because of the requests he was getting and the needs he was seeing out there not being met. And so that's how this platform, Manufacturing Masters, came to be. And so today I would like you, Darrin, to share with our audience why this, tell them about Manufacturing Masters. And then I want you to share with people why this, why now.
Great. Thanks, Allison. I have been an entrepreneur and own a manufacturing business for the last 23 years. And as you mentioned, did it from a remote island in the Atlantic Ocean that most people, I'll just say, if you know where the state of Maine is, I'm somewhat close to that. So that would be a reference point. But I knew very early on in my career that we were behind the eight ball. I knew that there were much bigger, more well-established companies that were vertically and horizontally integrated. And if we didn't do something unique, we were destined to fail from day one, just purely because of geography. So I had that adventure for 23 years, grew globally. We were in Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Europe, and all over the US and Canada, and did very well at the business because, again, the seed or the premise was we couldn't be just as good as everybody else. We literally had to be different. And it was a good run, and that company was purchased from me a year ago Christmas. And as of that day, I was no longer owner of a global manufacturing business anymore, which was an interesting day. But again, the premise was that I had to learn very quickly is again, being just as good as everybody else doesn't cut it when you're in a global economy. So lots of bumps along the way. I don't want anybody to think that being an entrepreneur is easy and, people say must be nice to be you. How many times I woke up on an airport floor going, hey, my bag's still here. Nobody stole it. I'm going to call my kids and say happy birthday yesterday. That was, there's always ups and downs as an entrepreneur. I very much appreciated having the opportunity to do that.
Well, and so for people who maybe aren't subscribed yet, Manufacturing Masters is your brainchild. It's like the Netflix for manufacturers, only instead of entertainment, it's all about education and best practices. And I feel like the tagline says it all. It's everything they never taught you in school. So I would like you to share with people why create this platform.
Thanks. So in 23 years, it was a very lonely road, not just because of our geography, but anybody who's listening today who's in a leadership position, you are the one who, when you turn around, there's nobody behind you because you're in that position. Like literally, you are the leader of that organization. And you're expected to do a lot of things right at many times during the day. The challenge is a lot of us didn't go to school for manufacturing. A lot of us didn't go to school to become manufacturing leaders. And even if those existed, they never taught you day one, here's how to fully implement an ERP system. And by the way, when your quality control manager quits, here's the exact type of person that you're looking for from start to finish. You have to be that person who knows what excellence looks like, to be that judge to incrementally move your business forward every single day. And some days I would sit there and go, I have no idea what I'm doing. Just we're now registering for global patents in the European Union. I've never been here before. I've never owned patents before. Now I'm and everything in that whole gambit that we have to do as entrepreneurs, from excellence in your record keeping, excellence in your HR policies, excellence in your culture, excellence in your brand and your marketing and your sales. When you're in that leadership position, and we're not talking companies that, have 300,000 employees. We're talking, I was pretty fortunate. I had 130, but we're usually talking very small to medium businesses that your team has to be very good at a lot of things. So I struggled with that over the years. It was a lot of trial by fire. And when I sold my manufacturing business, other manufacturers started to reach out to me saying, can you help us do what you did? We have strong margins. We had a global presence. We had well-established supply chains. And I realized very quickly that I couldn't help them to be all things to all people. So understanding today that this little device, I'm holding on my phone for anybody who doesn't know, this little device you can use to get to anyone today. And putting two and two together, I started to say, why don't I go out and start recording some of the world's best experts and get them, and I'm talking battle-tested experts who have actually been there, done that, and are going to tell you that they ran a triathlon and show you how to run your business. People who have actually been in all of those different aspects of manufacturing, and say, could you please, in 5 minutes-ish, show me what this one thing looks like that I'm dealing with today? And can you please show me what excellence looks like? Because even my staff who are telling me what excellence looks like, they may not know. So we should have some sort of standard where we have industry trusted experts who can show us in a very short time frame what excellence looks like. And that was the birthplace of Manufacturing Masters. A lot of it, myself and people who I'd met over the years, we all kind of went, we're just kind of weighing it. And if we do it right, we get to, live another day. So that was kind of the birthplace of Manufacturing Masters. And there's a lot of really good experts out there, because we now live in a global economy, who you can reach out to for that very specific help that you're looking for. So no one should have to suffer anymore. There's lots of reasons we can, but at least there should be that tool available to that business leader to say, I need some help today. I can't sign up for a conference in 3 months. I can't afford to go away. I just need someone to tell me, what does excellence look like with this one big issue that I'm dealing with today?
Well, I think that's what's so brilliant about this, and what I love about it. I'm fortunate to be an expert on the platform, but I have learned so much from all the other 130 plus experts. The fact that you break it down, you have them break it down into, here's a thing that I'm going to talk about. Here are the points. Here's a playbook. Go. So there's no fluff. I call it fat-free yet filling. It's, get straight to the point and go win the week. And I don't know that this exists anyplace else. So that's why I think it's very exciting. It's unique. And as you and I have talked about many times, if a manufacturer was to go out and hire a consultant or multiple consultants, first, you have to go find them. That takes time. 2, you told me stories where you said, I brought somebody in. They were really great. Solved my problem. I brought some other folks in. It was a dud. Yeah. Waste of time and money. And you just don't know. It's like, who can I trust? Where do I turn? And so now you've brought them all here into this one place. And the cool thing, again, because you are very generous, you're very humble. So I will speak on your behalf and give you the accolades that you will never give yourself. But you've made it so that when a manufacturer subscribes, 4 other people on their team also have access, right?
No, we've opened that up since Christmas.
Okay, do tell.
We want to be more generous. We want you to sign up all your staff. And we're starting to see that now is if you have, 50, 60 staff, give them the opportunity to have that access to that information as well. So sorry to spring that on you. But what we've been seeing lately is not just the leadership, but share that best practice with your staff. So you don't go into your next meeting saying it's me versus you. It's just us looking at best practice saying, what are those points that we just learned, and how many of those things could we possibly implement today to take those baby steps forward?
Wow. Okay. Mind blown, mic drop, as Kurt Anderson would say. That's phenomenal. And the other, so the generosity, the inclusion, it's making it an us thing instead of a, oh, I'm getting all this information, but you're not. All boats rise together. So I think that's incredibly important. You shared with me a story about, and correct me if I get this wrong, to date, it's one of my favorite stories about an experience this guy had from using this platform. You were in a room with a bunch of manufacturers and some employees, and this guy had been fairly quiet through the time that you guys were all there talking. And he kind of maybe raised his hand and said, I've been doing my job, this role, for 26 years. And in all that time, until I watched videos on this platform, I never knew what best practices really looked like. Now I do. Thank you. Like, where was this 26 years ago? And any other stories that you can think of that come to mind, or?
That particular one was a win for me, because anybody who's in manufacturing knows who this guy is. He's the rough guy who doesn't like going to meetings, and he kept side-eyeing me the whole meeting. And eventually I got him to open up, and that's exactly what came out was I almost feel either validated or, I was feeling, how do I compare to my peers? Because when I go to manufacturing, that's a box with 4 corners, and I've been going to the same box with the same 4 corners, and I don't really like people, Darrin. So I never traveled around to find out what my peers were doing, but now I have a spot to go to say, here's how I compare to industry standard. So yeah, that was incredibly valuable. The other one that we found that was interesting came out of Arizona from a CNC shop, and the owner told us that we had a volume program on the platform, and I went, volume, we got 500 videos. Is it not enough? Anyway, no, I'm out on the shop floor, because we're small enough. I'm working on the floor, and I listen to videos with my earbuds, and I can't hear over the machines. And that made my day, because now we've taken the advice from 130 battle-tested experts, and we're putting it on the shop floor. And that day felt pretty good. And we also have, it's interesting, we also have quite a few NGOs and government organizations signed up who are there to support manufacturers. And quite a few have confided in me that they're in roles to support manufacturers, but they don't know enough about it just because they haven't had that experience. So they're also watching the videos to go, okay, I just did a quick check. Today we're talking about MRPs, or we're talking about continuous improvement. And I have a better understanding of that language that manufacturers use, some of the trials and tribulations that they go through. So that's another group that I was kind of surprised that started using manufacturing masters to say, we're going to use this as a reference check when we're helping the industry. So that felt good.
Absolutely. Well, and it's such a great tool too, because, I have the opportunity of working with MEPs and associations around across the U.S. And the thing that I'm seeing them love about this, well, there's numerous things, but some of the feedback is it's such a great tool because they're always looking for quality content, valuable, relevant, what's happening today that we can share with our audience or our state's manufacturers. And the fact that this is a portal for their members and their manufacturers, but it's also for them. So they're looking for, hey, we could do a webinar series. We see from the analytics that our people are all interested in this thing today. We thought it was this, but it's really this. Let's create a webinar series. Here's all the experts we can go contact, and it's put together like that.
The first association that we partnered with, which is the Excellence in Manufacturing Consortium, we now provide them with monthly data on what their membership is consuming. But the way we do their reporting for them is we show them what their membership base cares about in real time. So I can tell you that back in the fall, it was still some supply chain that was, lots of videos being watched, but there was a lot skewed towards supply chain. And then after that, it was just HR went bananas and people struggling for people and talent and training. And I can tell you that just at the beginning of December, it switched again. And the most skewed popular videos that we have being consumed are continuous improvement. And I think why that's important is we're not doing an annual survey for our partners. We're actually showing them real-time data about what their manufacturers and their manufacturers care about at the end of the day in real time. And again, what I'm seeing in the industry is, we had supply chain issues, we've accepted we're always going to have people issues. It's time to move on. And I think that's where a lot of manufacturers are at today. And like I said, we're doing this in real time, not hearsay of something we heard on the news. We can actually share with our partners what the manufacturers care about in real time. So that feels pretty good as well. And it gives us an opportunity to understand what future content we should be adding to the platform as well. And I'm pretty excited because we add lots of new content on a regular basis. We interview the experts to make sure they're actual experts. So I keep going back to the battle tested. We have Kim Wolf, who's a former plant manager for Campbell Soup. We have Andy Erickson, who is a supervisor trainer, a team lead trainer, and he used to do that as a plant manager for Boeing. We have, and again, when we're talking about these odd things that come up every day for the leadership team, we have Hugo Fuentes, who is a supply chain expert, who does a great video on what do you do with your dead inventory. And that's, we don't go to school for that. We don't really talk about that on a regular basis, but dead inventory is something that can hurt the business. And when it comes up, how do I deal with this? Like, where do I turn for best practice? So as we grow, I'm very happy that a lot of these weird niche things are starting to come out, because again, you may not care about dead inventory today, but the day you care about it, that resource is sitting there for you as part of an overall offering. So I'm pretty excited about the volume. I'm pretty excited about the caliber of the experts that we're maintaining. You can't get on just because you want to get on. We run through a pretty rigorous process. And like I said, we have to ensure that they're battle tested. And this coming up this month, we have someone who's talking about how to accommodate neurodiverse employees, because that's a growing category. And who would have expected manufacturers to be talking about that? But today it's important. And the other one that we're doing that I'm pretty excited about is how do you accommodate foreign workers? And again, well, you just hire them. No. You want to make sure you get good people and they stay with your organization. And you can't do it the same way you did it in years gone by. So where the guy who's doing that is actually a manufacturer who's brought in a lot of foreign workers to his remote location, saying these are our experiences and this is what we found as best practice. So actual experts who are in the field practicing it every day.
Amazing. And, one thing I think that we've realized is that by offering this to your team, it makes it helps with recruiting. It's a benefit, right? You have this training for people. And it also, as an MEP or an association, for example, it makes you stickier because now you are connected, which is a really good thing, with multiple people in an organization, and really you're training people and you're clocking the time for it while you're sleeping. So training is happening whether you're face to face with somebody or not, and if you're the manufacturing leader who is providing this to your entire staff, it's the same thing is happening, right? Somebody's up late because they've got a sick kid or they can't sleep or whatever. They're able to learn when it's good for them on their time.
If I was trying to help manufacturing businesses, the best thing you can do is not have a champion from that manufacturer, because the risk is that champion gets really excited and they're the go-getter, but what happens when you lose that champion? So the best thing that you can do is to say, how do we provide that resource to all the people who need it, instead of that one champion always going to the meetings, always going to the big, I'm going to get on an area. My famous one was Dwayne. I'm picking on Dwayne right now. Dwayne, go to the big conference. We're talking about inventory management. Go to the big conference. So the week after, we sat as a management team, and I would say, Dwayne, tell us about what we learned about inventory management. And he said, well, our flight was delayed and we went to see a baseball game. No, you were gone a week. We have to all talk. We're all involved in inventory management. Who's we? Oh, I took my girlfriend. So not to say that that's a horrible situation, because sometimes you send employees away for, almost reward. But the thing that was missed is those 3 to 4 nuggets of best practice or ideas of ways to do things better. We lost those. And that was the golden moment. So again, where Manufacturing Masters comes in is, I don't think anything will beat face-to-face, by the way.
Right.
Love face-to-face. You can't do that today. You can't be all your HR, inventory management, supply chain, sales, marketing. You can't be all of that at once to all the people who make up your business. So again, what we want to do is just give them that tool. If you want access to 130 experts and growing, here's the tool. If you want access to 500 videos about something you're probably dealing with today, here's the video. And by the way, it's 5 minutes long. Here's the bullets. You can even print off playbooks that we have associated with all the videos saying, hey, Darrin, we're going to take on the great state of Arkansas today. And I'm going to say, fantastic. Has anybody done a customer persona? We're manufacturers. We didn't think about doing that. But now I can figure out how to do a customer persona by watching Allison's video. I don't need to be there for 4 hours. I get 2 very valuable things out of it. One, Allison told me what best practice looks like. So I may not be doing it directly, but my lead person might be. And the other valuable thing is, if I like Allison, I say, I like the way she introduces things. I like the way she captures it. I think she would be a good fit for us. You can reach out to Allison and say, Allison, you helped us with the baseline stuff. Now we know what success looks like. Can you help us implement? So every single one of our 130 experts are completely open, and most of them have said, call us for half an hour, 45 minutes. We'll even engage with anyone complimentary. We love talking to manufacturers. So at any given time, if you find someone who's a good fit for where you're at today, you can reach out to any one of those experts. So you mentioned Netflix before. One of the things we like to pride ourselves on is, unlike Netflix, you can actually reach out to the stars. So
Right.
it's not like the relationship just ended. You can reach out and say, listen, Allison, we're thinking of taking over Arkansas. It's a I'm stressed. It's a huge step for our business. I'm not quite sure we've got it lined up just right. When we're talking about personas, could you help us go to the next step? Because I think we've got it. I'm just not quite sure we hit a home run with this one. And that's where I want people to reach out versus, hey, Darrin, all your systems suck. You need an ERP system. And by the way, I'm coincidentally the same person who's going to sell you the ERP system.
Right.
The other value is you're getting industry professionals with completely neutral best practice advice that aren't trying to push something on you. And again, I use the ERP example as I would go, do my systems suck? Maybe. You're just telling me $200,000 and that's it? All my problems go away? I don't know. And for all I know, that person could have been right. It's just I had nothing to judge it against. So again, just giving them that snippet of what best practice looks like, I think is an extremely important thing to bring that confidence level up. Because there's a lot of manufacturers doing good things today. Just want to make sure to let them know they're not alone.
Absolutely. It's creating such a community. I think that's the thing that's exciting to see. And for anybody, if you're not already subscribed, get your booty over to manufacturing-masters.com and do that, because this platform is just continuing to grow and to expand. So that's the exciting thing. Like, you never cease to amaze me, because every time you and I meet or talk or are working on something, you're adding something to the platform. You're adding something to the community. The community is always growing. So it's really exciting to be a part of. It's exciting to watch and to see what's next, because with you, there's always something next. So I have, yeah, you're welcome. Well, so unfortunately, because we could chat about this all day, we've got to wrap up. And I have a question that I would like to throw at you. If you could describe your favorite part of manufacturing, one thing, what is that?
Problem solving. Love it. That one came out way too quick. I knew when I sold my manufacturing business, I was literally creating problems myself the day after, just to try and solve them. It was the thing I complained about for 23 years, going, when is anybody ever going to kick my door in and go, Darrin, everything's great? Nobody's ever going to do that. And I realized very quickly that I loved the creative problem solving. If somebody said it can't be done, it was just gasoline for me. So it's we deal with big, complex things every day as manufacturers. And I very much enjoyed the problem solving. And like I said, some days I would complain about it because no one ever kicked my door in and said, everything's great. But I enjoy, I enjoy that very much, is the problem solving. And yeah.
Well, fortunately for the rest of us in manufacturing, you are a master at it. And I'm just really appreciative of everything that you're bringing to this community. We're all going to be better because of it.
Well, thanks. I think you raised the bar for us, because with your expertise in marketing, it's one of the things that we are generally very bad at as manufacturers. So I think people should be taking a look at some of your stuff on the platform, and just you in general, because like I said, I did a session last week for a group of manufacturers who are on the platform, and I said, you need to punch above your weight class. You have to. Because if you're not the world's best, you're just heating noise. And I have no reason to contact you today. The response that was given was, are we allowed? That's where we're at today. And again, we're producing some world-class things. We have to embrace that marketing that you've taught me about. We have to embrace that more, because otherwise you haven't set yourself aside. And these are little tidbits that have come to me that have now started to enter my language since we've got to know each other personally and through the platform.
Wow. Well, I wasn't expecting that, but thank you so much. And I think, I think the exciting thing about this is that you're showing manufacturers they have permission. And truly, the sky's the limit. And you don't have to be huge. You don't have to have a massive budget for marketing or operations or anything else for that matter. You just have to really know who you are, and you have to know who it is you're trying to be of service to. And then, like you said, I love that, punch above your weight class. And then you just have to go for it and show up every day.
That last one, see, you gave one more little nugget in there. You have to show up every day. And that's something that we sometimes get distracted on, and we start doing other things and we forgot to stop showing up. It just needs to be part of the culture. But again, we're starting to get into manufacturing masters. Let's carry that on another day.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much. We're going to wrap up. Everybody, let's get to work. Until next time.
If you're not already, subscribe to the Manufacturing Masters podcast on Apple Music or Spotify. And for a deeper dive, head on over to manufacturing-masters.com. It's everything they never taught you in school.